No matter your age, or if you're on a competitive sports team, or maybe you just enjoy friendly games of pickleball or golf, injuries, they can happen. Dr. Stephen Bokshan with Cone Health OrthoCare is talking about how to prevent those common injuries. So, hey, let's start with pickleball since we know so many people are on the pickleball wagon. What are some of those common injuries, and what should pickleball players do to help prevent those?
Yeah, we see a lot of pickleball injuries these days. So most commonly, what we'll see are the typical sprains and strains. Ankle sprains, believe it or not, are very common. But one of the most common injuries I see, believe it or not, is actually fractures. So what I would advise all of my future pickleballers to do is please get your bone health checked out. Go check to see if you have osteoporosis, either at your primary care doctor or here at OrthoCare. We also do osteoporosis screenings. Please, please, please.
Yeah, and that's a non-invasive screening, and it takes all of like 20 minutes.
Absolutely. Quicker than an oil change, and it can save you a potentially devastating fracture that could keep you out of the game for a couple months.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about stretching. I know people who have played pickleball and who have said, oh, that was my first mistake, is that I just didn't stretch before I played a game and then I hurt really bad.
Yeah. Stretching is essential. So, especially for my pickleballers who are getting into a sport, they may not have been in a sport for the last couple months or even years. Stretching can save you a very bad strain that can keep you out for weeks. So, muscles that are cold do not like to get into activity. So, a lot of my back strains or lower back, even neck strains, I'll see in patients who are not warming up appropriately.
All right. What about if you're just like starting a walking regimen? Should you be stretching before that too?
Yeah, no question. I mean, when it comes down to it, a lot of these things depend on the type of weather that you're exercising in, how recently have you exercised. The body in motion likes to stay in motion, and a body at rest likes to stay at rest. So the reality is that pretty much anything you will not do harm by doing a short stretching routine, but just play it by ear, make it commensurate with the amount of activity you're about to engage in.
Okay. And what about like tennis or golf? About the same kind of things that you would say for that as well?
Yeah, so in terms of tennis, believe it or not, it's kind of like pickleball. It just puts a ton more stress and force on the shoulders and elbow. So what I tell you, if you're going to engage in tennis, you got to do your stretching, and not just stretching, strengthening. So that's when I'm going to see my shoulder injuries, my elbow injuries, things like tennis elbow. Those are chronic repetitive overuse injuries from just high velocity sports, and really in response to not doing an appropriate kind of stretch and or inappropriate strengthening, particularly of the shoulder. Golf looks low impact, but believe it or not, it's actually a quite impressive sport in terms of the amount of rotation you put through your back and spine. So for all of my golfers, I tell them, please, please, please work on your lower back, work on stretching your back, work on stretching your hips. You will thank me on the back nine.
Yeah, so I was about to say, what happens if like you don't do the warm up or the stretching? Will you feel it then, or will you feel it later?
Typically, so that's a great question. Typically, if you have more of a significant injury, you're going to feel it pretty quickly. So when I say a significant injury, I mean something like a herniated disc in the back or a more significant kind of flare up of arthritis in the back. You're going to feel a sharp pain, and it's going to really stop you from finishing the round. Now, a muscular strain or sprain, that's something that will kind of crescendo or build up over the course of the next several days. And that's something that's a little bit less acute and may not necessarily need a workup.
All right, and when we talk about stretching or warming up, you've always heard all these things, you're not supposed to stretch, unless you have warm muscles. So what should you do?
In terms of stretching, there's lots of good stretches that you can do. Believe it or not, a lot of the stretches I advise are actually pretty consistent with what a yoga teacher might give you. My go-to for stretches are a therapist by the name of Dr. Joe on YouTube, but you can find sports-specific content for just about any sport you'd imagine. All you have to do is head to YouTube, for example, and type in a quick golf stretching exercises. And what you'll do is you'll find lots of content that are specific for you there. But surprisingly not, a lot of what you're going to find is something that you'd find in a yoga class.
Good to know. Okay. All right. We are going to continue this topic of conversation about preventing the sports injuries.